want to talk about a success strategy, making a great first impression. And you might consider this to be similar to a job interview in the sense that the franchisor is not going to sell you the franchise, rather they are going to award you the franchise. And therefore you have to be accepted as a franchise partner to go out and operate one of their territories and essentially be their brand ambassador in that local designated market that you're going to run. So the introduction of the franchise, at this point, you and your franchise consultant, if we're working together, we've already discussed possible franchise opportunities and identified the ones that are best suited to you. And it's time to have your first phone call with the franchise. And so the best approach, I feel, is the interviewing approach. Asking the right questions so that you can learn all that you need to learn while establishing yourself as an outstanding candidate along the way. So some of the things that you do want to show: that you are interested, enthusiastic, smart, capable, an attentive and good listener. These are all things that the franchisors are looking for in their franchise partners. And so if you can start off right off the bat by impressing your franchise representative, who is going to go back and talk to the leadership team, the head of franchise development, the CEO, and they're going to be excited to tell them about this candidate that they had a phone conversation with, and they're looking at this available market that we have open that they've been looking to fill. Typical opening conversations and what to expect. What to expect on the first call. The representatives, they're going to want to start off by getting to know you and your interest in the franchise. Many candidates make the mistake of getting excited, which is natural, wanting to learn more about the franchise and come up with a list of 100 questions to ask. This is not the time. Keep the exchange light and simple. Don't overwhelm them with questions about the franchise on the first call. Your primary goal is to establish yourself as a strong and viable candidate that they can't wait to learn more about. Just like going into a job interview, you're going to want to present to them all of the best characteristics about yourself, your situation, your aspirations as an entrepreneur and business owner, and really start to show them the picture of what it's going to be like working with you. And they are in turn going to show you the picture of what it's like working with them. Everything from training, operations, you will get that information. And this first call is more so about establishing your relationship with your interviewer and potential franchise partner. Some basic interviewing questions for you to be prepared. Why are you interested in franchising? Sometimes if you haven't really thought of an answer, it can be tough to come up with this stuff on the spot. So it's best to be prepared before going into the call. What makes you believe you would be good at owning one of our franchises? Take some time to consider the franchises that you've selected and identified, and what was it about them that you thought would be a good fit and your consultant thought would be a good match? And so, how do you think your prior experience will help you be a good owner for us? Get some context going as to how you plan on going into this business and what your role in the business is going to be. Have you ever managed or hired people before? Most franchises, if it's not something that you're working by yourself, they're going to want to know if you've managed or hired people. Also, fired anyone? What were some of your challenges that you faced? Also, think of some of your strengths in this sense. Have you ever managed a budget, a profit and loss statement, QuickBooks, any sort of accounting software that you're familiar with? These are things, business acumen characteristics that they're looking for in their franchise partners. Things that they would like you to bring to the table. While they don't want you to have direct industry experience, because this is their area of expertise, and they don't need any sort of preconceived notions about how to go about the business. They like it when you come with general business acumen, that you have done some of these tasks in your previous roles and how that can relate to your new franchise business. At the same time, they're going to be training you on areas that you might not be as familiar with. So don't be alarmed if there's certain areas that you haven't seen in the past that they're asking you about. That is going to be part of your training, and possibly where you might find opportunities to hire employees that have these skill sets or outsource these aspects of the business that you're getting into. What kind of questions should you ask about? Some example questions that I'm going to go through with you. General questions to ask. Has this been a good year for the company? Let them respond. How has the company been faring amidst the current economic conditions? We know every business right now going through this past year in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic, the whole situation, different businesses, different areas of the country, it does vary, but get a general sense of where they're at today and what support and things that they've implemented to help their franchisees. What would you say are the most important characteristics you're looking for in a new owner? These are the things that you're going to want to understand, because it will likely impact your lifestyle. And this business is one that you have options to find the one that is going to meet your expectations, your return on investment, and these things should be echoed when you talk to franchisees during validation. I always recommend a minimum of 10 validation calls, having those calls with different types of franchisees at different stages of their business, selecting the ones that you and the franchise representative have uncovered could be similar to the situation that you're planning on getting into. These are all things that should be done before you invest in any franchise or business that you're planning on getting into. Also, you can ask them about what some of their greatest advantages are that they offer to the marketplace versus competitors. What are some of the things that they're doing as far as technology goes that they're implementing to be able to help franchisees in the business that they're getting into? And so they should have a good spectrum of what the market looks like and be able to clearly differentiate their brand and what they're doing different. You also can ask them what are some one or two things that might have changed in the business as of late. And they're going to give you different things. Just understand every business has its challenges, transition, growth periods, strengths. And so you're going to want to also understand what the company's long-term outlook might be. What is the direction that they're heading? How are they innovating? And how are they meeting current market demands for the customers that they serve? And so all of these things that you're going to be able to ask, depending on how that conversation is going, you're going to have to be the judge of this. Likely that first conversation could be an hour, so make sure you schedule appropriately. If they call you on the spot and ask you if this is a good time, you might want to tell them that you got to take a look at your calendar and put something when you know you have a little bit of extra time in case the conversation runs long, because you want to make that great first impression. Remember, be yourself. Most important, keep it light. No need to blow them away with intensity on the first call. There are going to be plenty of other forums to ask your questions. Focus this meeting on setting your mark as a strong candidate, one that they're going to go back to their leadership team to tell them about what kind of a call with a candidate that they just had, and get them excited to work with you. Some key takeaways for today. Do appear enthusiastic. It is important. They can feel it when you're excited. Prepare for the interview questions. A lot of times people are getting prepared to ask a ton of questions about the franchise, and that's great, and it does show that you are interested. However, you're going to also want to show them why they should be interested in you as well. Be a good, attentive listener. This is, as always, it's important to listen as well as to share at the same time. And so by doing so, you will establish yourself as a strong, viable candidate that can follow a proven business model that they've established and why they should want to bring you on as one of their future franchisees. And so I thank you guys for tuning in today. As always, leave your questions in the comments below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. If you need anything, reach out, shoot me an email, jonathan@bizfranhub.com. Again, that's jonathan@bizfranhub.com. Thank you.